Welcome back to Midco Sports tonight, and our list this week is our South Dakota and North Dakota high school football players of the year. We'll get to Jody Norstead up in West Fargo here in a moment, but let's get back to South Dakota, Jandy, and move to Class 11A, which has had 6 or 7 really good teams over the last 3 or 4 years. And the team at the top has a lot of the candidates for your player of the year.
There's one team that sticks out. You see it right here, Madison, Madison, Madison. A team full of superstars makes our finalists. And let's take a look at them one by one. And we'll start with Josh Giles, the quarterback. He may be one of the more underappreciated 2,000-yard quarterbacks in recent memory, Tom.
And he had some guys to throw to him. We'll get to that in a second. But look at some of these balls. He throws a perfect ball out there, and he could find guys and over, 2,200 yards and 34 touchdowns this year for Josh Giles.
And he keeps the turnovers down, and he's done nothing but win over the last 2 seasons. And like you said, though, he's got a lot of great targets to throw to. One of those guys, Jaden Yonke, and actually this year, he really moved to more of a running back on a pretty much full-time basis, and he was pretty comfortable with that. 8.2 yards per carry, 1,250 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns, and he was so good on defense as well, an absolute ball hawk on the defensive side as well.
Shifty moves right there, get him in the open field. He was untouchable, uncatchable, and he could make some fabulous catches as well. So you got Jaden Yonke.
But the guy who really made fabulous catches, right here.
Yeah.
Jackson Yonke. This guy, he was tremendous at just finding the ball in the air and then not only catching 50 receptions this year, but doing this. On half of his receptions, he would turn a simple 10-yard play into a home run.
50 catches, 22 of them went for touchdowns this year for Jackson Yonke.
Oh, great year for him. And then you've got Carter Slykehouse from T. This guy's the only junior on my finals list. He was a lot of fun to watch. Set a team record in T with 1,024 rushing yards, but also hauled in 442 through the air. And not to mention, he was a great return threat as well in the kicking game. Great guy to have on the team. They'll welcome him back big time next year.
All right, T had a good year. You had St. Thomas More. You had Dakota Valley was good this year. Millbank had a good year, but it came down to Madison, and that's what it comes down to for your player of the year. Pick one guy. I dare you to pick one guy.
This was really hard. I talked to people from Madison too, and they said, how are you going to pick between these guys? And I ended up copping out a little bit, but I'm going to pick the Yonkes, both Jaden and Jackson. How can you separate these two brothers? They are beasts on the field on both offense and defense. Doesn't matter if you ask them to break tackles, make tackles. They can do anything on the football field, and that's why I got to put them together in this one.
All right, and they were part of a team over the last 5 years that went to 5 straight state championship games, and Madison wins it again this year in 11A. In 11B, Jandy, another fun class this year, and you get down to the semifinals, and these are the teams that were in the semifinals. You got a candidate from all 4 of them, and all running backs.
Yeah, no surprise that you get the semifinal teams with a great player, but it is a little bit of a surprise. No quarterbacks on my list here. A lot of running backs, and we're going to talk about some of the best running backs in the state, starting with Jamin Aaron. Yeah, beginning of the season, we thought we'd be talking about Cole Gassman right here, but Jamin Aaron took over for Cole after he had a season-ending injury against Madison, and boy, did he take over. Aaron ran for 7.5 yards per carry, 20 touchdowns, and he took his team all the way to the Dome. And then you've got Damian Lucas of Sioux Valley, who he really took the class by surprise, Tom. I think not many people expected Sioux Valley to do what they did, but he had a big year.
Yeah, every Friday night we're sitting here watching numbers come in. He'd roll up 200 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns every Friday night.
Every Friday night. They just leaned on him, and 26 touchdowns ended up on the year. Last year he played a lot of quarterback, so a great move for him to quarterback or to halfback this year. And then you talk about Parker Nelson, who just burst onto the scene for Sioux Falls Christian. He reminded me a little bit of Braden Peterson, where you just give him an inch, and he's got the speed to take it all the way.
Yeah, not a big guy. You saw him break a tackle right there, but huge numbers on the year. Had 283 carries, by the way, and only 1 fumble. He took care of the football. Trustworthy guy running the ball.
Yeah, that means a lot to a coach when you know he's not going to turn the ball over. And then how about John Whitty of Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central? Yes, he not only did great on offense, 1,775 yards, 26 touchdowns, but he was their best defender as well. Most tackles on the team, most tackles for loss. Here you see him making the game-saving play against Winter earlier in the year.
All right, and again, they get to the semis, get knocked out there. Sioux Falls Christian goes on to beat Bridgewater Emory-Eaton in the championship game in 11B. So your player of the year in 11B is?
It was tough. It was between Lucas and it was between Nelson, but What Nelson did in the championship game set him apart. It was Parker Nelson. He went for over 2,000 yards, set a record for the most carries in an 11B championship game with 40. I mean, that's called riding your horse all the way to a championship. Parker Nelson put him over the top. What a year for Parker.
Yeah, he was a great story. Sioux Falls Christian was a great story. They win their first high school football championship this year. All right, we're through 11 men. When we come back, we got our 9-man nominees, great players, huge numbers from those guys. Lots of candidates, but only one. It's the nod from Jandy.